Video 2 continued. The worker asked my ex-wife's opinion of the older daughter having stayed with my ex-wife's sister. He stated that he was very concerned about this being allowed as my wife's sister was a drug user. My ex-wife was well aware of how inappropriate her sister was. The worker, okay, this is on the 27th of March, 14, almost 2 weeks later. The worker called and spoke with the boyfriend again. He stated he continues to have concerns about my ex-wife. He may be moving out soon. My ex-wife is going to bed at 4 or 5 a.m. She's cleaning up the house or on the computer in the middle of the night. He is unsure about drugs. The older daughter, which is 15, stays up with her all night also. He is concerned if she is able to get up when the little ones get up during the day, which would be his son and my son. The boyfriend spoke of a recent event with my son, Bradley. Had a bowl on the baby's head, about to hit the baby. The older kids are always picking on my son, and therefore now my son is picking on the baby. The worker asked how he disciplines my son. The boyfriend states that he makes him go to his room. He has spanked him before but denied leaving an injury. He tries to talk to him about it, but my son just stares at the ground. The worker asked about the choking allegation. He states that he has put my son in his bed and he ran out the room screaming and he curled up in a ball in the ground. Supposed to be on the ground. The boyfriend picked him up to take him back to his room by his butt and shoulder. My son gave a strained cry because he was very upset. My son wants to cry so hard and his face is red. The boyfriend said he would never choke a 3-year-old, which my son is 3.5 now. The boyfriend states that my son's older brother beats up my son all the time. My ex-wife just keeps saying I don't know, he must have bonked his head a couple months ago. My son had such a big bruise on his back that the doctor took an x-ray to check for internal injuries. The boyfriend assumes it is from my son's older brother, but not sure. My ex-wife never intervenes. She stays on her computer all day. During the time the older daughter was staying with my wife's sister, my son Bradley was also living there for 2 to 3 months. The worker provided this information to another worker. Talks about ongoing services. Says they spoke to my mother because I got the report in prison before I got out. I got a notification that a report was going to be made. So I had my mother call to find out. They wouldn't tell her nothing. Then they got out. I got out and they talked to me. And I telling them I'm on probation for 10 years and all kinds of stuff about me, which I'll address in a later video. And they found it, this report as confirmed I don't necessarily know what that means, but it does mean there's a problem. Now, I went to prison in March, well, actually February of 2010. Exactly a month later, my wife fell asleep at the wheel and ran into a stop sign. And my son received injuries on his forehead. We'll say 45 days after that, she had another accident. Smashed the window out of this car when she hit something. I don't know what she hit. But this is my vehicle. I left it with her. Because we got married 80 days before I went to prison. And she knew exactly how long I was going to be there when we got married. They ended up giving me $7,300 for that accident, which I turned over to my sister to hold for me, along with $10,000 that I also gave to my sister to hold for me before I went to prison, which my sister has officially stolen from me and has only given me about $3,000 since I've been out of prison. So that's what I have to my name right now. Well, I had to pay bills and place to live and all that good stuff. Because of those first two accidents, I made a DHS report from prison alleging exactly what had happened, or what was alleging exactly what happened after I made the report, because nobody cared to look at my report because I was in prison. So after my report was made, they canceled it in May of 2010. And my ex-wife drove her new vehicle across 2 lanes of traffic head on into a telephone pole. She blew a .07 alcohol level. My son was taken to the hospital and he had injuries above his eye. He was taken to the hospital alone. And everything in the report states that she's being arrested for OWI. But it seems like they put her in the car and let her sit there. And then she blew a .07, so they let her go and gave her a ticket for failure to maintain control. Now, if she was in Florida, where her probation is, she would have violated her probation. And our son would have ended up with my mother. After the accident, she was given a DHS report, or a DHS report was filed against her. She was found guilty on that because she failed to properly buckle Bradley into the car or protect him. And in this report, she admits to having that this was her third accident with our son in the car. So, third accident. What I'm going through here is my my divorce exhibits. So they're quite thick here. I got the hospital records, everything. Because I would say 80 days after I went to prison, She stopped talking to me. Wouldn't tell me nothing about our son. Wouldn't send me pictures. Wouldn't respond to nothing. Got the phone records. I wrote a judge. They forwarded. Now I got his doctor records. I don't know if you're really going to be able to see it, but this is a height chart and weight chart. And you can see where the bottom line is. The bottom circle there at the bottom of the line, that's the low 3 percentile. And those of you who have children know what that means, that your child is not doing the best. Now, if you can see where my son was 3 months old, which I was free on the street until my son was 105 days old. After I left, he fell off. Now, the reason for that is because he has emesis, which is kind of a lactose intolerant issue, which I had it too, and my mother told me how to handle the situation. Basically, you had to feed the child very little amounts of food at a time so he can have a chance to digest it, which I did that a lot. Now, here's a little something where I paid child support of $50 to my ex-wife. Here's where I paid $30 and it was returned because she didn't want to cash that one because even though it was the same as the first one. Excuse me. Whew. So that was the first year, 3 accidents. Then we go to 2011. I have an arrest report from West Des Moines Police Department where my wife and her sister are at a place called, well, I'm not going to say the place. They're at the Jordan Creek Mall inside a store shoplifting on May 17th, 2011, and it's public record if you choose to look it up. Where she is in the store with my son, or actually, she said it wasn't my son, she said it was her older son. And the witnesses say that they took off security tags, five pieces of clothing, went in the dressing room and put it in their bags. Now, when they go to leave the store, the associates stop them. They check in my wife's bag and her sister's bag because her sister was with her. And when that happens, they decide to run. And they have a child with them, so that's real nice. They run through the mall and they catch my ex-wife. And my ex-wife yells to her sister to give them the effing clothes. So basically my ex-wife just admitted that she knew that there were stolen clothes in the bag. So after the clothes were given back, the workers let them continue to run, and they got in their vehicle and left, later to be arrested, both of them. It's kind of clear-cut case, accessory to whatever you want to call it, theft. But somehow my ex-wife got the prosecutor, which she's good at getting people to do things, to dismiss the charges. And the prosecutor told me that it was discretional based on the sister filling out an affidavit saying that she did it. She stole the stuff. But the paperwork is very clear that they both did it. Oh. So it's got an affidavit, pictures, brothers. So, among other things, she's had over 11 incidents with the law, whether it be car accident, speeding ticket. She's got over 4 speeding tickets since I've been in prison for my 3 years. She's got recently, just this year alone, 2 tickets for driving without a license, without registration, something to that nature. So basically, she can't go anywhere unless the boyfriend drives her anyways. And I'm here seeking help because I can't get to him. I have no car. All I have is family down here. I have no family in Iowa. Since I was in prison, I fought my own divorce case. The judge thanked me and told me I did a very good job, and he expects to see me in his court with a motion when I get out, is basically what he told me. And I have filed that motion, and I have filed that proposal to change custody, to share custody, not take custody. But after this report, I want to take primary custody, we'll call it, because I would never stop her from seeing her child. And she also calls him JT. For some reason, it's more of initials of the boyfriend's name, and that's not his real name. She's doing that to disassociate him from me. I have actual videos I will be putting up where, when he was born, she's calling him his initials, which is BJ. So there's no reason to call him JT, and she's just doing it to get at me, but I don't let it bother me. I know I'll get to see my son. I know the court will give me that opportunity. But I'd like to file a motion for emergency custody, and I can't do that. I mean, I'm doing it, but I need help getting there and to get in front of that judge and present everything I have. So I would say the trip there was going to cost me about $2,000. So I'm going to ask for $2,000. I also want you to keep in mind that I do have 2 beautiful daughters. They're in Florida. They're safe. They're with their mother, and they're with their grandmother at the same time. I do have primary custody of them officially by court order, but they're with their mother right now, and I'm allowed to see them anytime I want. There's a few pictures on my YouTube of them. And the one thing they asked me to do was to take them to either Animal Kingdom or Legoland. Before this month, I haven't seen them in 5 years. I've been away for 3, but my ex-wife basically prevented me from seeing my daughters because we moved from Florida to Iowa. And the 2 exes didn't like each other and kept a lot of problems going on. So I'm here today to ask him for $2,000 to help me fight for my son. And anything extra will be used for my son or to take my daughters to Legoland / Animal Kingdom, whatever they want. So please do what you can. Thank you.